remember the one time, actually.
Which one?
Well, there was a couple times with the police officers, actually. So we're back today with Amber at the Peddler Perspective. Amber's got some interesting things going on in her life, and it's kind of fun. There are some bloopers that go on in real estate, some kind of funny stories. Our experience brings us good, bad. But anyway, Amber, what's new in your life? Like, what's new?
You want me to say it. You want me to know my secret.
I know your secret.
It's like,
it is so exciting.
It's just exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So I found out Valentine's Day weekend I was going to become a grandma. So I was pretty excited. And then yesterday I found out I was going to be a grandma to twins.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited.
It's so exciting.
I was calling it, calling it way before. I'm like, it's twins. So when they called yesterday, I was pretty excited.
Yeah. That is awesome. That is very cool. So I'm sure that brings a whole different level of why behind working sometimes, and also blocking your time. Blocking your time is going to be so very important.
Blocking my time was easier last year because my husband was off all the 38 days. So, he was home with the dogs, or he had, I had a schedule last year. He went back to work towards the end of the year, and now it's like,
yeah, you're back.
I'm back to working, I try to take one of the weekend days off, or at least, get the stuff in early in the morning so that way I have the rest of the day to go do whatever I need to do, grocery shopping or run errands or clean the house.
So, I know our lives, we keep aging and retirement keeps creeping up. And so I know one day Jason's going to retire and be that at-home husband, right?
Oh, yes.
Possibly. One day. Maybe.
That's my goal.
That's the goal.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Every year since the day I started, that's been my goal.
For him to retire.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's been nice for him to have that time, and you guys have that time together.
Oh, I was so spoiled just by knowing it. If I was talking with a client or I'd been gone all day, I knew somebody was home with the dogs, and, somebody was there to, let them outside or burn the energy off.
Yeah.
Or I can't say supper was ever cooked and ready to go.
I do think that's important to have that why,
Yeah.
and that refocus of that why sometimes of why we work. But at the same time, it is important to have that block of how to bring in that personal time. And so, yeah, with the grandkids coming, it does. I see that with my own grandkids that, oh man, I wish I
think I'm going to have to learn how to block better time, or just, I'll have to figure out how to do some things better.
Yeah, like these are the days that are dedicated. Here's the call, or it will
I might just
be
be hiring somebody to clean the house and do the grocery shopping. So, anytime I have, it's just that.
Yes. Yeah. I think those
Should have
things.
done that a long time ago anyway.
Those things do help, actually. To have somebody help with the household items. I'm not going to lie. I have that once in a while, and it does.
And I just have a hard time stealing money on something I can do myself that I don't do myself very well, or very often, or the way you should be.
So with when you think back to real estate, you have some incidences in your first year that were quite hilarious, actually.
Yes.
I remember the one time, actually.
Which one?
Well, there was a couple times with the police officers, actually, if you want to enlighten us on a couple of those, or that were just kind of really humorous.
Yeah. So the one I thought was, well, they're all kind of funny, but the one, they were kind of scary. But the very first one, I was showing property to a new client. First time I ever met him. We went and looked at something. We're walking the property. He was buying acreage. And we were doing a walk, and all of a sudden we hear a side-by-side rolling up on us. And as we're there, he and I are walking back to where we walked in at, and he says, they start yelling at us, like, we have plenty of ground, we have buried your bodies, we have guns. They were like crazy. And I went over and talked to her. She was on the side-by-side, and my client went over and talked to him. And we had never met before this time. This is the very first showing we ever did. He and I completely took, without having any communication, we both went and dealt with them, each one, and diffused the situation like we had done it 100 times before. I couldn't have had a better client showing your property too. And that client actually ended up having property that he hunts on right next to our property. So now he's on to the turkey day points with us, and my husband has his phone number there texting in the deer stand. So it actually worked out pretty good, because at the time, up until then, we didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
And then I ended up selling a property sold him a property and then sold him a property and then turned around and sold the property for him a few years later. So, keeping up with that relationship and just it worked out. That was probably the best one, but it was a scary situation. And the cops were actually called on us from the people who came up on the side by side. It was a family dispute and they weren't ready to sell. They thought they were entitled to it. They weren't. So it was just, and the cops got there. Well, as we're walking the vehicle, we had somebody else down the road waving his shirt off, like yelling for us. He's on a motorcycle, broke down, and luckily the cop was able to go find him too. But the cop pulled up, and I guess there'd been a couple incidents where the cops had to be out there, but it took a while.
Yeah, your bodies would have been buried by then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank goodness he was there. And it wasn't very much long later. I went to go show the property. I'd been in this property. It was the winter time, and I went and showed it. So I knew the layout of the house several times. And then I had another client about 2 weeks later wanting to go see it. And I get up to the door, and the front door is open. Like the lockbox got in the way of pulling the door shut, so it's ajar. So I called the agent that was not from this area. They were farther north. And she had said to me, it was, oh, just go ahead and go in. It was probably, the door didn't get stuck or whatever. But she couldn't confirm that. She couldn't tell me anything. And I went ahead and I called the local police department. And he cut me out on the phone and said, do not go in that house. We just evicted. He goes, don't go in. I'm coming. I'll be there. When he gets there, he goes, I'm so glad you didn't go in. We just evicted a squatter here last week that was living on the back porch. So here that agent was going to send me into a situation that could have been different. Like it could have been totally different.
I mean,
but
and
it could have been. But if I would have listened to her, there would have inspired her. What would have happened? You hear the stories all the time. So I was like, she wasn't local. She couldn't just her was just telling me, oh, I think if I just got left open by mistake, and I'm just thinking, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and call. And then the third one, these were all within 6 months apart. I really thought this was a normal thing. I had to call it. Is it on the market, off the market? There was a dispute with the sellers and breaking up, and my clients were buying the house with whatever they left. And it was closing day. We did our walkthrough. When we did our walkthrough, there was a gun in the basement steps, sitting there. And then, but they left everything in that house. And we got up to Fairview Heights to go do that closing. And while we're there, the other agent called and said, hey, that boyfriend that was not living there wanted to come and get their stuff out. They were not made aware of the house was selling. So we said, yeah, you have until we get there. Well, my client gets there because I went and ran some errands after. And my client calls me and he says, they're still here. They've got trailers. They're fighting. It's nuts. And so I told him to call the police department, and he did. And it took me about an hour to get there. We're still in the same county where we're at. It was about an hour to get to the location, and I get there and they're still not there. And I go up and I'm talking to my client, and they are these people are throwing things out of the house, chucking everything, screaming, fighting, and all. And I call the cops and let them know. And there's 45 minutes later, they're still not there. So call up the next county over, and they all roll up at the same time. And it was, but I did tell them that, I know there's a gun in the house. I mean, and this guy was angry enough. I mean, I could have seen him using it on her. It was crazy. But they had that entire house. They had so much stuff in the basement, upstairs, and on the main level. They had so much stuff in the house when we did the walkthrough. When we went back through and did a walkthrough after they left, so the police escort, the house was empty. I had never seen anybody move a house so fast. I have no idea how, it literally, I mean, even if he was there from, it would have killed maximum 4 hours. The entire place was cleared out, and I never seen another truck and trailer come out. So where did it all go? I have no idea.
Well, I'm happy to report that your police incidents has gone down quite a bit.
I haven't had that, but
yeah,
yeah.
just joking. Yeah. Thank God they are there for us, but.
I wish I had gotten a picture of the one time I was showing property. And it was, my client was my husband, and it was personal use as the 23 acres we bought. And it was, we hadn't had any rain that year. We were walking down, and I stepped on a pile of leaves. Well, when I did, my foot fell all the way through because it looked like ground, and I fell all the way to my butt cheek, and my head was clear up to my shoulder. It was the most awkward, but I'm laughing so hard because I felt like I was falling in a hole.
Yeah.
But it was. And I'm like, oh shoot. But there's other times too where I about knocked myself out by hitting my head on a beam going down the stairs.
Oh my, yes. Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of times I've done something stupid that we all can laugh at. 'Cause, you know.
The best that I've heard you actually to say is your wet T-shirt situation.
Oh yeah. We had one. Was that on closing day or that was it? I think we went back to go re-inspect. They had one that was a foreclosure that they Danny made and did the remodel. And there's a couple things on the inspection that would need to be done. And so the client's dad went over to go check on it, and his son was the buyer, and he wasn't there. So and his dad and I went in there, and we went to go check something. And he went to go check a valve in the bathroom sink, and it was like one of these newer valves that just completely snapped off, and the water was like flooding into the basement, and we haven't even closed yet. And then his dad's hitting in there. I go to find the shutoff valve. There's no shutoff valve in the house, not in the garage, not in there's none. And I finally said, switch me places, you go look, because I'm not seeing it. So I'm holding my hand there, but I'm getting drenched the entire time. And finally his dad ended up having to go out to the road and shut the water off the main out of the road. And the buyer comes in, and his dad was still outside from shutting it off, and he was yelling like, dad would. And my client goes, where's Amber? And he goes, she's in the bathroom. Trying to clean up that mess, or she's holding the valve or something. I don't know what he said. I could just hear him, but my client walks in and just sees me looking like a drowned rat. And he goes, I mean, I'm drenched from absolute head to toe. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But he had to go and get towels at the dollar store to sop it up, and we got it cleaned up.
Yeah.
We still closed on it, but yeah. Knowing where the shut-off valves is important.
Yeah. Kind of fun.
It was.
But yeah, the experiences can be kind of fun, the memories and so forth. And the friends you make along the way with those experiences.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like coming down here, heck, I lived here for 10 years or 12 years before I started in real estate. And I really only knew people within Perry County, from the title company, and the kids people went to school with. I knew Brad because he started selling real estate about the same time I started at the title company. I only met Brenda once. Met her one time, probably last 6 months.
Yeah.
Me working at title. And I hadn't met her again until I came in here for an interview or talked through things. And it was just, now the people that you meet and the people you see, or even I can be clear across somewhere. I'm like, well, now I can always call so-and-so if I need to see if they can come over here because it's a vacant house and I don't want to go in by myself to check something. I'm just going to call and see if they want to go do this walkthrough with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is nice to make those relationships and friendships along the way over the years. So, and it is a business where you make them.
And there's some that even they feel like family.
Yes.
There's just some that you absolutely love and you just enjoy them. So.
Yeah. Well, I think exciting news. I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you. So can't wait to see the new grandbabies and actually watch babies. Yes.
Babies.
And watch them be parents. That's always going to be fun.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do a great job. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, I'm sure we'll talk again.
Thank you for joining us today on the Peddler Perspective. If today's episode sparked a thought, a smile, or a new idea, share it with someone who'd enjoy the ride. Until next time, we'll be here, working the land, serving our clients, and bringing you more stories worth hearing.